Hello everyone, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Abe.
I'm Shay.
I'm Josh too.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Zombieland Double Tap from 2019.
Welcome to Zombieland. We're a family. Dysfunctional, sure, but what family isn't?
Is this your dad?
My sister is gone. She picked up the boy.
A musician! We ride it, Dawn. There are zombies approaching.
Can I see? Oh man, it's so tiny. Big, tiny!
She is adorable.
Zombieland Double Tap, rated R.
Zombieland Double Tap stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, Rosario Dawson, Zoe Deutch, Luke Wilson, and it's directed by Ruben Fletcher. The plot of Zombieland Double Tap is that this film picks up 10 years after the events of the first Zombieland movie, and zombie slayers Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, Little Rock square off against newly involved zombies. So yes, the zombies have evolved. Now before I get started with my positives and negatives and just my overall thoughts on this sequel, if you don't know, I have seen the first Zombieland movie. I've reviewed it on my channel. I think that was a part of my 31 Days of October review series for last year, which is now going to be called 31 Days of Halloween for this year. So yeah, I really enjoyed the first Zombieland, actually. I think I probably gave that one like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like seriously, I really enjoyed the first Zombieland. It was pretty funny. I liked the characters. The acting was pretty good. The special effects were pretty good too. Yeah, and just it was a fun movie actually. Not one of the greatest movies, but it was a fun movie actually. So when I heard they were doing a sequel, I wanted to see, I was really curious to see what they were going to do with it. So I saw the trailer, and I thought it looked pretty good. It still looked like, felt like the first movie still in that, so, it almost seemed like it hadn't missed a beat. And it was cool that the fact they got all the same people involved, from the director to the actors and everything like that. So it really felt more like 100% a continuation of the first Zombieland movie. Then if they didn't had all this, all these people back on board. So yeah, let's just get on to my thoughts on this movie. Is that I still really like the characters here. I really do. Especially, the best character in my opinion in both these movies is Woody Harrelson as Tallahassee. He's probably the funniest in the movie, in these movies and that. And to be honest, throughout this movie, I really did related to Tallahassee in this movie out of all the characters in this. No joke, throughout all this movie, I really, my thoughts were exactly the same as his when certain situations popped up. And don't get me wrong, I still like the other actors, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and these, Abigail Breslin. All of them are still pretty good. I do have some issues with their characterization in this movie, at least as far as where the story takes them. Okay, as far as new characters go, I only like one, and that's Rosario Dawson as Nevada, who in the film is basically the love interest to Woody Harrelson's Tallahassee. And I thought she was a pretty cool character, actually. Her acting was pretty good in it, and I did like the chemistry between her and Tallahassee. I really did, because they set this movie up for a potential sequel, like Zombieland 3. You know, that's one character I would actually love to see come back is Nevada. You know, especially if, you know, if she's still together with Tallahassee in the third movie. Because I think they work really well off each other, that showed in this movie. Also, I thought a lot of the action sequences in this movie was pretty good. Like, seriously, there was some I was just like... like, seriously, they're awesome. Especially the end sequence, actually. Like, the climax of the movie is pretty awesome. I gotta admit. I also do like, there's still a selection of different zombies in this movie. Like, you got some dumber than others, you got some smarter than others. In fact, this whole movie ends up building up to a newly evolved zombie that's meant to be the most intelligent and basically the most, most difficult to kill. But I would say as far as the type of zombies I would say is the funniest in this movie is, the homers, which are basically just, you know, the dumbest zombies you could possibly come across that honestly are just actually kind of harmless, actually. Like, they're not that much of a threat. So yeah, those were pretty funny. Also, again, I thought the humor in this film was pretty funny for the most part. You know, I did laugh at quite a bit of stuff, especially with Tallahassee. The pacing of this movie is still pretty good. This movie's about 99 minutes, and it does not feel like that, actually. In a lot of moments. Let me clarify. In a lot of moments, it does not feel like 99 minutes. Also, the cinematography is pretty good. You know, still not as good as I think as the cinematography in the first movie, but it's still pretty good. Still feels like it came from that movie. Also, the special effects is still really good, like the practical makeup and all that stuff. Like, the gore is still really good. Other than that, those are my only positives. I have is the new characters that they throw in. Not necessarily Rosario Dawson's character. I mean, I did like her, like I said, in my positives. And wouldn't mind seeing her end up in the third Zombieland movie. Which they do hint at the end of this film. Now, here's the thing. There's two characters that come in at some point. And that's Luke Wilson as Albuquerque and Thomas Middlechurch, I think that's how you pronounce it, as Flagstaff. Which the whole running joke with that was that they were almost like complete identicals to Columbus and Tallahassee, actually. Like, that was meant to be the joke, which was a little bit funny at first, but I think it kind of ran its course a bit with that bit of joke. There's some jokes that are kind of like that I feel like were overplayed a bit too much, which we'll get to that in a little bit. I also really didn't like these other two characters, Avon Jologa, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as Berkeley, and Zoe Deutch as Madison. I really didn't like their characters, especially Madison. I felt like, considering she was in most of the movie, and she was just so annoying, honestly. Like, that was one of the things with Tallahassee, is that, like, she was incredibly annoying to him, and I felt Tallahassee's pain having to be, you know, in the same area as Madison throughout this whole time. Other than the fact that the whole joke with her is that, you know, she's a blonde, and blondes are supposedly typically stupid. You know, that was the whole running joke with her. Which wasn't even really that funny, if anything, just made her incredibly obnoxious. I mean, there was only a few moments with her character that actually did make me chuckle a bit, but that was it for the humor with her. And to be honest, initially I thought they first killed her off, like having Columbus having to shoot her because she was turning into a zombie. You hear the gunshots and that. I was like, yes! Like, we're finally rid of her throughout the rest of the movie, and then they pulled a switcheroo where it turned out she didn't got killed. Columbus didn't kill her, and she didn't turn into a zombie, and she ends up driving right by the main cast and in this ice cream truck looking thing. I don't know. And my thoughts were just like my reaction to that was just like with Tallahassee's. I was like what the, I was seriously like, like why do that? And another reason I really didn't like her character is because from the moment she popped up on screen, I knew this was going to happen. Like, basically, she would have been a wedge between Columbus and Wichita's, relationship. Cause a drift in their relationship and everything like that. And there would have been this whole, this whole romance triangle between the three going on. And I'm like, dude, that stuff has been, that's one of the most cliche that's one of the most cliche plot points you could do for, character development ever. They don't even make it funny. They don't even necessarily make it that funny. In fact, if anything, to me, it was frustrating. Because I know what was going to happen. I knew. It was so predictable with that. Outside of the fact that, I thought Columbus did actually kill Madison, and boy was I naive about that, because they ended up getting away with that. Also, I really didn't like the character of Berkeley, and just because it's like, they try to throw in this whole hippie element with these hippies and everything like that, this hippie community, and I didn't really like that. I felt like, first of all, it was out of place, and plus the characters, especially Berkeley, I did not like. Like, seriously, when, that scene where, they, Wichita mentions that Little Rock went off with, Berkeley, actually, and she mentions to Tallahassee that he's like a pacifist and basically a hippie, and he just flips out and gets all crazy and that over it. I was with him. I was like that too. I was laughing at Tallahassee's reaction, but I was kind of with him on that. Even though I thought Woody Harrelson was the funniest in this movie, there's some running jokes with him that honestly don't land that well. There's this whole joke about the fact that the main ride he uses was stolen, or something like that. I don't necessarily remember what happened with that. So Emma Stone and them end up finding this little minivan. I'm not sure what it is. And there's this whole running joke with him, every time they find a new vehicle, that new vehicle breaks down and they have to go back to the minivan and start using that. And Tallahassee just keeps on flipping out about it. At first it kind of was funny, but after a while I think it kind of, that running joke overstayed its welcome. Honestly, for me, that's it for my negatives. So with that said, I'm going to give Zombieland Double Tap a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, I really did enjoy this one. It's clearly not as good as the first one. Although, for me, if they were to take out some of the running jokes that weren't working well and getting rid of some of these characters, either getting rid of some of these characters like Madison or Berkeley, getting rid of those characters especially, or just make them funny and likable, then maybe, and also get rid of the hippie element, then this film, I would say, would have been on par with the first movie. And another thing I forgot to mention is that I would say this film does feel like it's a bit Like, it's almost like, from what I've been hearing from people, it's like 10 years too late. That's how the movie felt to people. And honestly, I kind of agree. This movie felt like it was a bit, like, 10 years too late. Because this came out last year, and the first movie came out in 2009. So it's been about 10 years since there was a Zombieland movie, and all of a sudden they do a sequel like 10 years later. I think maybe if they had at least done this at least 5 years ago, would have been called for at least, but not 10 years. It's kind of like how I felt with Jurassic World, honestly. Like I've been waiting for Jurassic Park 4, and, while I did enjoy Jurassic World, spoiler alert on my review, that I did enjoy it, I felt like it was a bit, almost 14 years too late. Especially with the final product we ended up getting, so. But I did enjoy this film. I did enjoy Zombieland Double Tap. There was quite a bit of jokes that worked for me. I still really liked the characters, especially Woody Harrelson. And all the acting was good, especially even characters I didn't like. The acting was good for what they were told to do and everything like that. And I still wouldn't mind seeing the third Zombieland movie. Maybe that one could make up for some of the stuff I didn't like about Zombieland Double Tap. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.